Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, welcome back. And I am Marnice Jackson. And today we welcoming back our board of directors. This is the Meet the Board podcast at the Midwest Building Decarbonization Coalition. And this is very exciting because we are making sure that we lift up board members who are making sure that we do the work, holding me accountable, and making sure that we stick to the mission of eliminating fossil fuels in buildings before 2050. Okay. And so across the Midwest in these great states of Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and Ohio, we were founded to, of course, eliminate those nasty fossil fuels, fossil fuels, oil, gas, coal, all that stuff, right? In buildings. But we structured this coalition to make sure that we operate by the mass principles for democratic organizing, the climate justice principles, where we center people who have been impacted by high energy burden and environmental racism. And so I am Arnice Jackson, once again, the executive director. And today we have Paula Carey Moore, who's one of our lovely board directors. Paula has been here since the very beginning as one of our inaugural board members, where she is located in Missouri. She is also our board treasurer. She held the position of board treasurer and secretary at the same time. Thank you, Paula, for stepping up to doing that. But Paula serves as the regional vice president of housing at the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Paula has been involved with groups across the St. Louis metro area, including serving as the chair of the St. Louis Metro Housing Task Force, membership chair, and executive board member of the St. Louis County Continuum of Care, board member of the St. Louis Regional Financial Empowerment Coalition, and steering committee member of the St. Louis Equal Housing and Community Reinvestment Alliance. So, Paula, welcome back. And is there anything else that you would like to
Mhm.
tell us?
Well, I would just like to say thank you, one, for trusting me and allowing me to be a part of the coalition. And sometimes people are intimidated when you bring your time, treasure, and talents to a board because you've been exposed in different areas and not wanting to take hold of change and how things are being displayed out. So I definitely appreciate you, Marnice, because it allows me to have that exposure to take what I'm learning from the coalition and put it into practice at the Urban League.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that I just don't take for granted because I appreciate it. And especially in our environment, sometimes we don't realize how we can take information, put it into practice where we're currently working and have a better outcome for all involved.
Yeah, Paula, I appreciate that because, a lot of people first experience into board of directors may not be so easy because it can be very overwhelming when you are taking care of an organization, right? There's so many laws, compliance, you're managing the executive director, there's a lot of liability and legal stuff going on. So, one, how did you get involved with Midwest Building Decom Coalition, and why did you want to be on the board?
Well, I became involved because of my sister, Leslie Jackson. She
Mhm.
introduced me. And after having a conversation with you, participating in the general meetings as everything was being developed, I thought, and it seems like it's paying off, that I would be an asset. So,
Mhm.
not necessarily looking at all of the challenges that come with being a board member, but being able to learn, grow, and give.
Mhm.
And that's it. And if I believe in the mission of what you're doing, how you're carrying it out, And you're a easy person, as they say, to watch what you're doing in your growth and managing you. And I know as board members, we're responsible, but I believe when it's a win-win, it's so much easier.
I appreciate that, Paula, because people don't know that, of course, there's a lot of checks and balances. And of course, you're holding the financial pieces, as a board member, and of course, holding me accountable in regards to that. Um, what do you feel that people who may not know what boards do, what should they know? How do they contribute to an organization, outside of the management part? Is it really some type of hoity toity type of role? Because I met a lot of board members from other respected organization. Like, what do you really do? Right? You just holding this seat. Like, I don't know.
So you really need to read the bylaws. You need to understand the mission. And one of the trainings from my graduate studies at Washington University, board source, and then another board I serve on, St. Louis Classical Guitar, we had in-house training
Hmm.
because what we have to remember that each organization is different. Some of the bylaws could be different. So even though you may bring some of that experience, you have to stay open to how each board chooses to function.
Hmm.
So you may have a foundation of your do's and don'ts, but then you have different cultures that you
Hmm.
need to get adjusted to.
Right. So, and how would you say people should get on board of directors? Like, what would you think is the pathway?
I would say first they need to believe in the mission of the organization they're willing to serve on and not just, pick a board to serve on because you want that notoriety, but you're actually there to serve and to make sure that you're taking that organization to higher heights, that you're actually giving back and not just taking in
Mm,
terms of saying, hey, I'm on this board, but you do nothing. You should bring value to the table.
I totally agree. Value and not chaos, right? um, so I would say, what is your favorite part about working with Midwest BDC?
I think the favorite part is that I'm forever learning. There's so many aspects of working in the field of decarbonization and what impacts what. So I can't come to the table and say, oh, I know about that. And seeing you navigate through all of the states. So we're all different and there are different laws, different opportunities to learn. So I feel like I'm forever growing, like I'm in a school of learning.
You know what? I totally agree, Paula, because I feel like I'm always growing, learning, and I'm a studious person. I just like to know. And especially with the work of building decarbonization, there's always something around clean energy and climate justice that's to learn. And is it building the buildings part, which is the very technical part of the work that we do. Yeah, the field is very science based, across the board, but there's always something new to learn, and it can be very overwhelming as a executive director or a leader in the movement to be like, just got to keep up with everything, right? So what do you wish people knew about energy and climate justice that people are not really talking about?
Well, when I think in the area of housing, something so basic, like even getting their home weatherized, well, we have a weatherization department that it impacts your health. So something so basic that we take for granted we where we live, our land, how we're operating day to day. Some it's classes that we should have, conversations we should have, and the impact not on our health just for us, but for generations to come.
Hmm.
And when people really understand the impact, then we, will change in a way not out of fear, but out of seeing the progress coming forth and how we're taking care of this planet.
Thank you, Paula. Every time I ask that question, it's definitely a different perspective every time. So, Paula, what are some projects that you are working on that brings you joy and excitement right now? Urban League is a huge historical organization, right? Um,
Right.
what are some great projects that you want to lift up?
So, one of the things that we're doing now is our Home Depot do it yourself workshop for post purchase. And in that, we're having that on the fourth Fridays of the month in the evening. And we're utilizing it as post purchase. But the beauty of it is, even in doing it yourself for projects, it's not necessarily that you have to do it yourself, but you have an understanding who's coming into your home, what they're doing, and how it should be done properly.
Mhm.
So whether you're that first time home buyer or a home buyer that's looking to do a project to say, I would like to bring value into the home, we actually have the staff from Home Depot coming in and showing us some basic things that's going to save us money,
Mhm.
which also goes back into energy that we just don't think about and the types of products that we're using in our homes. So I like that because we actually stopped it because of COVID when we had to buckle in place. Now that we have a better grasp of what's going on in our health area, we can meet in person and learn again in a way that's fun and not cumbersome.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. So, outside of work, okay, I feel like we're always working, trying to save the world. God help us, God, please, please take the wheel. But what are some of your passions? What do you enjoy spending time doing?
Well, believe it or not, I'm in a business sorority,
Mhm.
Iota Phi Lambda sorority in the Alpha
Okay.
Theta chapter. And I actually enjoy the sisterhood and the community projects that we do.
Hmm.
So, in being in a business sorority, it's where you're giving back in a way that you're having fun. You know, I just finished my reign of being the Sora of the Year for 2023,
Yes.
2025. I actually serve as the financial secretary on there. And we just finished off our regional conference,
Okay.
which was nice. So, and we did a tour of St. Louis that I even learned a lot more about the city
Hmm.
and some of the history. So, I guess my nerdiness and learning, those are things that I love because it's forever growing, staying young in the growth and not becoming just complacent in
Hmm.
the way. So I really enjoy being part of the sorority, doing the community service, and having an impact on the St. Louis metropolitan region.
You know what? I appreciate that as a sorority girl. It's always some work to do.
Yeah.
I was with some of my sorority sisters last night, and we had a blast. And that's why I'm, I put it together, Paula, for you. I said I ain't gonna do Paula like that. But Paula, sister girl, was struggling this morning.
but you are with your sisters, and
Yeah.
it makes a difference,
Mhm,
and those are things. So you're not necessarily alone. You're learning
mhm.
how to be a good sister in the
Yeah.
sister.
Yes, and my cousins came out, and my family is definitely family oriented. So it's like once you meet the fam, it's kind of like we're all together, even though they may not be affiliated. But it's like we had a really good time last night. So shout out to sorority girls, sorority life, um, and having sisters to lean on in a time. And so, Paula, I wanted to say thank you so much for being an awesome board director and being a thought partner, accountability buddy, and making sure that I do my job. Well, I'm gonna do my job, but I'm gonna do
We
my
can tell
job.
you love your job.
It's like I'm gonna do my job. Like, like y'all ain't gotta worry about that. Um, but I appreciate you giving me sound advice, and I do listen. And you stepping up and taking on roles in a time of need, Paula. So I really appreciate you being a part of our board and being my one of 11 mini bosses. It's a lot of you guys. I have heard there is like 100-person board. I just I appreciate that, but it's just could you imagine me doing these podcasts with 100 people? I'm like,
No.
it's a bit much. Anyway, I appreciate you all while y'all here. But anyway, thank you, Paula. And so, and everyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in. We're going to continue these conversation with our board members, but go ahead and follow us. We're on all social media, but X. Not on there. We're on Blue Sky now. Yay. So go over there to Blue Sky and help us get some friends over there. But thanks for following us and just join our email list, learn about, decarbonizing your home, building, school, whatever, where you live, work, play, whatever. Learn more about what we do at Midwest BDC. No, MidwestDecarb.org. Lord, see, the leader don't always get it right, but follow us, okay? Learn about what we do. Trust and believe there's always something, a space within our space for you to do.
Yes.
So thank you, Paula, for being awesome. And everybody see y'all in the next at the next podcast.
Thank you.
Okay.